And we're back with the Young Republicans and our House Representative from LD12, Mr. Steve Montenegro. Now, a lot of people may not understand this, but you're an associate pastor of your church, and can you really be in government and be about Jesus? And because all politicians are liars, they're thieves, and Republicans, they just want to kill the poor and minorities, right? I mean, isn't that what Republicans do?
Well, I really appreciate that question, and let me preface it by saying this. Before I got involved in politics, I never knew or thought or wanted to get involved in politics. So when people ask me, well, how did you decide? I almost want to tell them I fell and I hit my head, but that's not the case. Calling comes knocking at the door, and the thing is that yes, politics it can be, and in much of it is very nasty. It gets awful because of everything that happens back and forth. But when I was approached to run, the first thing I told them is, listen, I'm a minister. My faith is strong, and I don't apologize for it. But what the GOP did that I respected was, you know what? You believe what you believe. And all we're asking you is for a man like you to stand on the values that you hold. We're never going to tell you how to vote. We're never going to pressure you, which they haven't, and I appreciate that. Mm-hmm. We just want you to stand on the values you hold. That impressed me about the GOP here in Arizona, and that's why I ran. And again, respecting the faith that someone has is very important. But the GOP party, the Republican Party, is not trying to proselytize people. We just want people to open their eyes. We just want them to understand what the political area is, the arena, what your beliefs are. Just know what the government's doing. I mean, they're spending out of control. Just know that. They want to prohibit you from preaching certain things in a church. That's what big government wants to do. They want to tell you how to live your life, how to have your faith. And it is not true that Republicans are cold people, I think that the problem is that it gets misinterpreted as, purposely it's misinterpreted as being cold equals personal responsibility. And I think that we're in a society where accountability is lacking, where people are thinking, the government should take care of me. Chris, you need to be responsible to make sure my health care is paid for. You need to make sure that I have food on my table. It's the society and the government's responsibility to make sure that I prosper. And that is wrong. That is the key to slavery. That is the key to enslaving mankind. When you tell them that you own them, that you will put food on their table, you are enslaving them perpetually. And what the GOP does is it fights that. It stands against that. We are the deciders of our destiny. We are responsible for being prosperous. I think that we need to better our message and tell people, don't you find it kind of offensive that the government doesn't believe that you can do things on your own? The government doesn't believe that, big government doesn't believe that you can work hard enough to get ahead. You're not that smart. There's an elite class. They're smart. They can compete. But you, not you. We have to keep you subverted, subjected. And that is the problem that I have with big government and with the left and with liberalism and progressive values. And I don't think they're values, they're beliefs. Because frankly, you cannot help somebody prosper if you're feeding them every day a fish. But if you teach them how to fish, then you'll feed them for a lifetime. It's the proverbial thought. And so that's the philosophy behind that. And I can take this back to my roots. When I was 11 years old, people ask me, where do you get your conservative values from? And I tell them, my parents. My mom used to tell me when I was 11 years old, Steve, I'm going to break my hands off working if I have to, but you're going to go to college. And you're going to work hard and you're going to get ahead. In fact, I remember people telling my folks or my parents, why don't you just go to welfare? Let them take care of you. And I remember the response was, you know what? As long as we have hands to work, we're going to work hard. We're going to make sure that we provide for our household and leave those things to people who can't provide for themselves. Because there's people out there that can't. And as a GOP, as Republicans, we believe we need to take care of them. You know? We do believe that we have a responsibility to help those in need. Absolutely. But at what point do we enslave people?
A hand up, not a...
Exactly. We have hearts, but there's something called tough love as well. You know, my father, he made sure that I knew how to, go to school, get a job. He told me, Steve, I don't want you to fall in love with money. I want you to learn how to work, get an education, so that you can provide for your household. So that is something that I value. I get from my roots, and I think that people share common sense. If you're watching right now, you remember your parents telling you, you work hard, you get ahead. You work hard, you're able to achieve anything and everything. And if you didn't hear that, I'm telling you right now, you can do it. Don't let anybody tell you you can't because you're Hispanic, because you're a minority. Don't buy that. Don't buy into that racist, sexist garbage. You're an American. You can do whatever you put your hard work to do.
Now, getting into some of the tough love, it was a nice little segue. The left is going to make a huge deal now. They're going to talk about 200,000 people being taken off of Access or off of Medicaid here in Arizona come September, and they're going to spill it. They're going to spin it that we're killing the poor. If you could please expand on that, kind of counteract some of the hysteria spin that they're purposely trying to put on there, and tell us the facts and tell us the truth.
Well, the truth is this, that the state of Arizona has revenues to a certain degree. But when the money runs out, there's no money. I mean, as much as I like to go out to eat, and I don't, but as much as I would like to go out to eat, I can't afford it. As much as as much as anyone would like to have a $1 million house, if you work hard, you can get there. But not everybody can. What's happening here in Arizona is that under certain agreements, Proposition 204, that the people asked, we need to take care of a certain segment of people that can't take care of themselves. That was under the tobacco settlement funds. That was a certain allotment of money that was coming into the state that was supposed to go towards Access. It's about $147, $150 million a year. Right now we're spending about $850 million in Access. That's not what the people voted for. The people voted for the tobacco settlement funds, monies, to be used for that. And we're at the point, Arizona's at the point where we're about to go bankrupt. We have ran out of money. There was a rainy day fund about 4 years ago. That flew by. There's no money. And we have to balance our budget here in Arizona.